Hey guys, welcome to the Garbage Time Podcast. I'm your host, Katie Nolan. This is our second podcast of the week since we love you so much. Tuesday, we released a guest-only podcast with journalist Jessica Luther. Please go, definitely check that out. Been cool to see everybody's response to that, and it means a lot to me personally, so please go listen to that. Today, our Pick Your Poison podcast, I'm joined by producer Matt.
Hey.
Hey, producer Dave.
Hey, yo.
Producer Garrett's here too.
How are we doing?
All right. But producer Matt and producer Dave specifically are going to tell y'all about their underpants.
You know we are, Katie.
Mac Weldon in the building.
I am wearing my Mac Weldon sweatshirt right now. Could you guys tell? Because it looks so fresh and just stupid fly right now.
Mm-hmm. And because you wear it like every day.
Yeah, I do wear it every day. I, for some reason, always forget it when we tape the podcast, so I'm glad that today I remembered. It's super comfortable. And it eliminates odor, right? Do you smell me?
No.
And you usually do, right?
Yes,
so
very
nothing
much
today.
so.
I'm just really glad we got sponsored by them because we get to wear their clothes now. It's
We're
great.
very glad we got sponsored by them too because we were sick of smelling you.
Yeah, that was an issue.
It was.
You know, thank God they were here to intervene.
Agreed.
It's been a life change.
And guys, they want you to be comfortable, so if you don't like your first pair, you can keep it and they will still refund you, no questions asked. Go to macweldon.com and get 20% off using promo code GARBAGETIME, all one word, no spaces. That's MACKWELDON.com, promo code GARBAGETIME for 20% off. Sweet. You know what else was sweet? South by Southwest.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Went there this last weekend. Austin is dope.
Yeah.
First
as a
time, right?
city. Yeah, never been before. Hung out on Rainey Street and 6th Street and just like tons of bars and tons of drunk people. Saw Ryan Cabrera at a bar.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get into that. Next week, our podcast guest is Rembert Brown. And we talk about it a whole lot, so I won't talk about it too much here. But yeah, it was cool. It's just like an intersection of sports and pop culture and just all the people that you see a lot or interact with a lot on Twitter, but we're all in real life.
Yeah.
And I finally got to meet Jessica Luther. Like I said, she was on our last podcast from Tuesday, and like have a conversation with her that was really, really insightful, depressing, but important. And so that was really sweet. And I ate a ton of food.
What was the favorite thing you ate?
I had the best Brussels sprouts I've ever had in my life.
Nice.
At this restaurant called Seersucker. I also ordered pork butt
Yeah.
at this restaurant. It was great.
I don't get what's that funny?
Butt. It was butt.
Oh.
Pork butt.
Got it.
And like I giggled
it's a
when I
thinker.
ordered it, but like they're so used to that in Austin. The guy's like, what the problem is? I'm like, well, it's a butt.
How was the panel you did?
The panel was cool. It was me, for anyone who doesn't know, it was called Do Great Athletes Have to Be Good People? And it was me, Kevin Demoff, the COO of the Los Angeles Rams, Eric Burkhart, who is Johnny Manziel's former agent, and Evan Rosenblum, he's the EP of TMZ. It's a lot of letters. And so it was cool. They all kind of got along a little too much at first because I thought they would all have like a contentious relationship because, you know, they all work with athletes but in a very different capacity. So they were getting along a little too well, so I was poking and prodding them. It got to a point where things got a little bit heated between Eric and I because we were talking about female athletes and like instances of them getting caught doing bad things. And if the question from the audience was like if we thought that was because female sports weren't covered as much as male sports, or if it was that like women were just like better people or something like that. I'm not doing that question any justice, but the point is that the answer from Eric came with like, or for all we know, you know, it's just because women aren't supposed to act like that. And I was like, excuse me?
Oh boy.
How are we supposed to act? What does that mean? What am I moderating this panel in a way that's acceptable to your standards of how a woman is supposed to moderate a panel? And he did exactly. It was like, oh boy, oh here we go.
Okay.
And then I was like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna take another question from the audience now because it was a woman, and I was like, but just know that when you ask it, if you don't ask it in the way that he wants you to, he's gonna let you know. And he's like, that's not what I meant.
Nice.
I'm like, oh. But it was, other than that, I think it went okay.
That's great.
Good.
And we all got a beer after, and nobody seemed all that mad, so I think we'll be fine.
Perfect.
Maybe. I FaceTimed with Danny Amendola for 30 seconds.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty,
What was that about?
pretty nervous. Well, so Eric is his agent, and so I was like talking about I was a Pats fan. And he just FaceTimed him. I'm like, I am not ready for this. I didn't like do my hair. Like I would have loved to have been wearing a prom dress right now. I want him to see me at my absolute best. He's got a face, man. That's why FaceTime was invented. If you look like Danny Amendola, you should never make a phone call. Only ever FaceTime. Anyway, guys, time for America's favorite new game, Pick Your Poison. Quick reminder on how this guy works. There are 5 categories on the board, kind of like Jeopardy. I have no idea what's behind each one, but I'm going to pick 3 based on the category names. Each one reveals a question with 2 possible options for me to choose between. I'll make my pick. We'll open it up to you guys on Twitter to see if you agree. Last week, my questions were, number 1, who's chiller? Is it Cubs manager Joe Madden or Royals manager Ned Yost? I said Ned Yost.
Twitter poll said Joe Madden 70%.
Wow, you guys.
Wow,
damn.
Way to disagree.
Yeah.
Number 2, whose retirement speech is better, Peyton Manning or Daniel Bryan? I said Daniel Bryan.
Twitter agreed, obviously, Daniel Bryan, 62%.
Obviously.
Obs.
And finally, who fired better shots on Twitter? D'Angelo Williams at Peyton Manning or Bette Midler at Kim Kardashian? I said D'Angelo Williams.
Twitter disagreed with you again. They went Bette Midler, 65%.
Pretty rude, Twitter. Whose fucking show do you think this is?
Lots of airtime for Bette Midler. I like it.
She's loving it. All right, let's welcome in producer Garrett to reveal this week's categories. Garrett!
Hey, Katie, we got some good
Yay.
categories this week. Categories this week are Lost Boys, Save Me a Seat, Some Days Off, That Hobby's a Probby,
What?
and Anxiously Awaiting Answers. Which would you like to choose?
That hobby's a probby.
That hobby's a probby. All right, Katie. Which hobby is more concerning for your favorite athlete? Couponing or dancing?
Ooh. Ooh. I'm like anxious to find out who's extreme couponing. Because that's what we mean, extreme couponing. Not like
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
clipping out a coupon.
Oh, yeah.
You don't sort
Yeah.
of coupon.
Yeah.
You extreme coupon.
All right, give me dancing.
Okay, so Dancing with the Stars. The lineup's been revealed. Von Miller, Antonio Brown,
So weird.
Doug Flutie, and an MMA fighter named Paige Van Zandt, who I heard of when I started researching the story. To recap, that's the Super Bowl MVP and the #1 pick in everyone's fantasy draft.
Yeah.
Are both doing Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
It's kind of insane. But a little history here. Hines Ward, who was Antonio Brown's teammate at one point, already won Dancing with the Stars. Emmett Smith won in 2006. And now you can bet on this year's, obviously. Von Miller has the best odds, 6-1. Antonio Brown, 7-1. The favorite is a singer from Boys to Men. And Geraldo Rivera, you can get him at plus 750 if you were so inclined for some reason.
I'm not.
Yeah,
I put money on Von Miller during the Super Bowl and he won me some cash dollars.
he did. Single-handedly.
Yeah, I voted him for MVP.
What do we think about, like, if your favorite
here's-
athlete being on Dancing with the Stars?
Well, so here's my first take on Dancing with the Stars. It doesn't make any sense to me. That like athletes and dancers have an obvious advantage. So like there was one year they had the lead singer of the Pussycat Dolls. It's like she dances.
Right.
She does that. This isn't fair.
Did she
then
win?
They figure I don't know.
Nicole Scherzinger.
She might not have. But like figure skaters, it's like these are not
Right.
like pop stars. Like that's not fair. They have to know how to do that kind of stuff. Athletes have to be coordinated. That's why it's more funny when it's like a
Yeah.
Geraldo Rivera.
Misha Barton's in it, too.
Oh God.
Plus 1,000.
How would you feel
If
like,
my
Gronk
like
was doing
Antonio
it?
Brown should not be doing that. You could really hurt yourself. And it's offensive to
Right.
say that
Yeah.
that dancing isn't. I mean, I'm not saying it's a sport like it's the same as football, but you're really putting your body through some stuff.
Totally. Yeah.
You could pull muscles.
Yeah.
You could break bones. I don't know. It's a tough. I think you should be focused. I hate when people say.
At the
It's a
same time, I
distraction.
feel like if I knew that my favorite player was getting a workout all in the off season by dancing, I'd rather be doing that than like God knows what.
Yeah, sure. It's just also infuriating that when Michael Sam chose to do Dancing with the Stars, everyone's like, oh, he just wanted to be famous. You could tell he doesn't take football seriously because look, he's doing Dancing with the Stars. And it's like, yeah. So is Antonio
Yeah.
Brown.
Yeah,
Pretty sure
right.
Antonio Brown takes football seriously. He fucking better.
Great point.
He doesn't take haircuts seriously. Looks like a goddamn Lego.
People want to be famous. I don't know why that's such
I
a big
know.
surprise.
What's wrong with that? It's like, ew.
Like, people should know what Von Miller's face looks like. Like,
Yeah.
you should get out there and do
I'm
stuff like
dying
this.
to be
I'm
famous.
into it.
That's why I started this podcast.
Katie, you know who's not betting on Dancing with the Stars? Someone who is really into couponing, and that guy's name is Kawhi Leonard.
Oh,
Kawhi
yes.
Leonard is into coops?
Oh yeah.
Tell me more.
An SI article this week revealed Kawhi Leonard is sponsored by a chicken wing chain called Wingstop.
Okay.
And he loves that they send him coupons for free wings.
Oh
In
my
fact, he loves
gosh.
it so much that this winter, after he signed his $94 million contract, he couldn't find his coupons. He lost them. So he hit Wingstop up and was like, can you replenish my free coupons? And they generously did.
Very generous of Wingstop.
So
It's like Wing Go. Trey, Wing Go.
Yep.
So
yep,
as-
yep,
I'm going
more.
to keep
So
going with
I
this
need help
bit.
here. So as a Spurs fan, I'm conflicted. Like, should I love this because I know that it proves he has a good head on his shoulders and he's making smart decisions both on the court and off?
Yeah.
Or should I hate this knowing that he doesn't have enough confidence that he's going to make a lot of money throughout his career and that he's couponing? How should I feel?
I think you should feel great about it. Because who doesn't love free shit? I don't care how much money you make.
Yep.
If someone sends you a book of coupons for free fucking wings, if you go out and spend money on wings, that's just poor decision making. You know you can get them for free. And if you're just spending money on them because you can't find your coupons or because you can't be bothered, you're a person who doesn't know the value of $1. I love Kawhi Leonard now. So much.
Yeah.
Are you shitting me?
I feel you on that. That's the way I was leaning anyway. I'm like, this just like encompasses everything about him, right? Like he is just like
Yeah.
a smart dude who's like, he's not off in Vegas like making it rain. He's
No.
couponing.
Yeah,
So
he
I'm
sure
I'm
is.
all in.
I always get really jealous of people who live in states like Texas and Oklahoma where they'll double your coops. I know you might not understand what that means, but like big supermarket chains, if you're really into couponing, which I would be, except we live in New York where it doesn't exist and you can't do it, big supermarket chains will take your coupons and they'll double them, the manufacturer coupon. So let's say, Garrett, I get a coupon for $1 off a box of NyQuil from the manufacturer, Vicks. Then I'll get $2 off because the grocery store will double it up to $5 usually. And then I can get $2 off that box if I buy enough boxes. I'm getting so many dollars off that they end up being fucking free. The math works out, but not here in New York. You can't coop in New York. Why are you looking at me like I'm making this up?
You've opened my eyes.
I know.
This
Wow,
is
it's a
amazing.
Beautiful voice you
I
have
might
there.
move to Texas.
I know, we all should.
So,
Austin.
Yeah, I like Austin. So,
Good. So what do I pick?
Which hobby's more of a probby, do you think? Couponing or dancing? I know which way you're leaning.
Bruce Matt, what do you think?
I am concerned that the Spurs are too boring. Okay? Couponing.
There you go.
Couponing. It's
Coup.
way more exciting than whatever Tim Duncan's doing with his free time.
That's
so
true.
I'm enormously concerned. Kawhi Leonard
Knitting.
needs to like start, I don't know, pick up guitar, get something going in his life, all right? I'm a little worried about him.
Okay.
That's my take.
All right.
I feel you. I would be much more concerned with an athlete dancing with the stars.
Yeah.
Because like we said, I know there's just way too much chance that you pull a groin. And that does not happen by clipping coupons.
Yep.
It could.
It could. I've aggressively clipped coupons before in a way, like while,
the fix. Oh, no,
while
my
on the, yeah,
groin.
like snip, snip, snip. Yeah, I'm gonna say the hobby that's more of a probby is dancing. Before we get to our next category, last week you heard me talk about Super Beats. Dun, dun, dun. Circulation superfood I drink every day. Super Beats really makes a difference, and it's time for you to try your first canister free. Super Beats is loaded with vegetable dietary nitrates that boost nitric oxide levels in your body. This equals an increase in energy and stamina without stimulants. Dietary nitrates are great for supporting healthy blood pressure too, which is super important. Plus, Super Beats now comes in black cherry flavor, so if taste was holding you back before, then now's the time to try it. Get a bonus 30-day supply of Super Beats free with your first order, plus get the book Beat the Odds free, and free shipping too. That's 3 free things. It's guaranteed or your money back. Call 800-951-9013. That's 800-951-9013. Or if telephones scare you, as they do me, go to beatsbykatie.com. That's Beats, B-E-E-T-S, by Katie.com. We won't make you talk to anyone with your voice. You're drinking Beats right
Drinking
now.
it right now.
How you feeling?
In my Mac Weldon sweatshirt, guys. I can be bought. It's really good. It's really good. We drink it every day. Every one of the stuff.
Yeah,
the
it's
best.
delicious.
You should order it.
I love cherry. All right, Garrett, what do we got left?
All right, the remaining categories: Lost Boys, Save Me a Seat, Some Days Off, and Anxiously Awaiting Answer.
Some days off. Give it to me.
Some days off. If you were president, which would you make a national holiday? The day after the Super Bowl or the first day of March Madness?
So, all right, go ahead, Ford. Present your argument.
So I'm going to tell you about the first day of March Madness. Here's what happens. Just by the numbers, it's just mind-boggling. More than 50 million people fill out brackets every year. It's incredible. And Americans waste approximately $1.2 billion an hour watching basketball during work. So why even pay people to come in? Everyone would rather watch the games. Let people stay home. Also, just in case you want to give me the day off this week
No.
to watch games. Okay.
Nope.
Well, that was worth a try.
It sure was, and you really tried. You really
Yep.
pushed. Dave.
All right, 112 million people watched the Super Bowl this year, and they just watched the game. They drank and they ate a lot. In fact, roughly
I disagree.
28 million pounds of chips, 8 million pounds of guac, and 1.25 billion chicken wings were eaten. Kawhi ate his for free. Plus, the game ends around 10:30 at night. Then you have the post-game celebration award ceremony. It's midnight before you're done. So 112 million people come into work the next day feeling awful and talking about the commercials and the halftime show and not working. So why work at all? I feel like everyone would enjoy the game more if they knew they didn't have to come in the next
That's
day,
for
and we
sure.
would just have a happier America. So
Yeah,
make the day
also,
off.
world, like, why don't we just move the Super Bowl to Saturday? And why don't we move the first day of March Madness to Saturday?
Why isn't that done?
Like,
It's
why
the
is it
best
on
thing
a
I've ever
why does
heard.
it start on a Thursday anyway? Why do you have to meet the people outside, like, in your work pool at TGI Fridays at 6 for the first day of games? Why
Yeah.
can't it be?
And
Why
the
can't?
kids have class. They're skipping class to
Yeah.
play. That's true.
Yeah, doesn't make any sense to me, really.
on that.
They should all be at times that you can sleep in the next day. Every important thing should happen on a Saturday. So
I
that's
like
just
that
these
take a
are my
lot.
feelings.
Like
really
just in
nice take.
general, like all important things should be Saturdays.
Right, but if I have to pick between these two, my thoughts are that the Super Bowl is the end. It's the last game. It's like the biggest game of the year. Whereas day one of March Madness is every team that made it in, and I get it. Like everyone's watching because you've got your brackets and you want to see who makes it, and you basically know like where you're at. If by the end of not fully, but you can get a sense of like, oh shit, I'm still in, I'm like crushing it. Or like I made every wrong decision. Then again, I'm a Pats fan. So like I would want the day after the Super Bowl off because we go to it a bunch. Whereas I imagine the two of you were like, whatever. You're probably like, I could go to bed halfway through at halftime.
that like?
I'm just here to see Beyonce. And then I want to take a nap and be up for work the next day. With 40, what do you got?
I think the day of March Madness, when you can sit down at noon and keep watching until 11, is unreal. And I think everyone should do it and not work.
Go ahead, Dave. What do you think?
I just think more people are watching the Super Bowl, more people would appreciate it, so more people would be happy.
I agree. Super Bowl. That's my pick.
Wait, before we move on, what's your strategy when you fill out your March Madness bracket?
Just to pick whatever I'm feeling at the moment. When I was younger, my strategy was Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Every year.
So that worked,
Every year
yeah.
I picked them to win. But just because I liked their name, because there was a Z in it. It felt crazy. It's like, yeah, there's a Z in Arizona, but like that's not crazy.
Are you a multiple TV streaming person?
Sure.
Doing all that?
So last year during this time, I was living out of a goddamn hotel.
Oh, that's right.
Because my mortgage hadn't closed yet, and I
my
thought I
gosh.
was supposed to be moving, and I wasn't. So I was living in a hotel. Couldn't even find True TV, which I know is like a common problem that people seem to have.
Yes.
That seems to really piss True TV
Yep.
off online. But yeah, so last year it was sort of like take what you can get. This year maybe I'll get a nice sweet ass setup. Go to a bar, watch
Yeah,
a bunch.
It's the best.
It is
I
the
think that's
best.
the right move.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like to just, when you've only got one TV, you've got to switch to like the close games.
Right.
You got to keep the internet open, turn on your internets, keep an eye on scores and switch around to the close games. Otherwise, it's like whatever. Before we get to our final category, guys, let's talk about Lyft. Lyft, L-Y-F-T, the app you have on your phone, which is basically like having your own driver 24/7. It makes us all feel like celebrities. I use it all the time. But you don't have to worry about directions. Your driver comes and finds you. There's 3 types of rides. We talked about this before. There's regular Lyft, which is just you and a really nice driver. Lyft Plus is if you have more people with you. Lyft Line is where you carpool with a bunch of other people, and it saves you a bunch of money. I've been using Lyft a whole lot recently. I like it because it's rarely ever surged, especially if I'm trying a different app and the surge is crazy and I check Lyft and it's like, oh, this is a normal price ride. I'm gonna use this instead. I used it at the airport when I was coming back from South by Southwest. The guy was great, my driver was wonderful. He found me, got me to where I needed to go. Very easy, didn't give me a headache. Have you guys been using Lyft?
I have. I love it. I was saying earlier, one of my biggest pet peeves with like cab drivers in the city is I always feel like they're trying to like milk that extra like tick out of you. So like I'll be like, this corner's fine right here, and then they'll just like pull forward a little bit more, and it's like, oh, now I have to pay another 50 cents. And with Lyft, I feel like the driver's not trying to screw me over.
Yeah.
They're like in it with me and like good people. So that's why I'm liking it a lot more.
Lyft is already a great value. It's better, faster, and cheaper. And now they have an exclusive offer just for our listeners because I love it, and I know you will too. You can save up to $30 on your first 3 rides. The easiest way to do that is to go to lyft.com/Katie. That's lyft.com/Katie. Enter your phone number and you'll get a message to activate your offer. That's lyft.com/KATIE. Don't wait. This amazing offer won't last, and it's only for our listeners. What? That's so nice. What are my remaining categories?
Remaining categories are Lost Boys, Save Me a Seat, and Anxiously Awaiting Answers.
All right. So
Man, those are all good.
Yeah. I'm going to go Save Me a Seat.
Save Me a Seat. Good choice. Which
Thank
would
you.
you rather attend? A football game at the proposed new Redskins Stadium or a hockey game in Las Vegas?
Ooh.
Let's hear
I
that.
know what I'm using to buy my tickets. It's SeatGeek.
That's right.
Yeah.
Save me a seat, geek.
Ford, I imagine you're going to
So
tell
I'm
me
just fired.
about the new
Yes.
Redskins.
I would like to. There was a proposal this week for the new stadium for the Redskins. It was on
Why did
60
I get
Minutes.
a new stadium?
Well,
You
they,
don't deserve
they
it.
weirdly have one of the older stadiums in the league, and it's not the best place to watch football, as a guy who's been there a lot. So the new stadium, I don't know if you saw any of the,
I
any of
did
the
not.
designs. Okay. The new design includes a giant moat, which would surround the stadium.
I love moats.
So you could
My favorite body of water is moat.
grab a kayak and kayak the moat outside of the stadium.
Tom Brady's house has a moat.
There you go.
Well, this would it'd be good to follow in Tom Brady's footsteps for the Redskins.
Yeah.
It would also have a beach, like a little park beach where you could picnic. There's bridges for tailgating.
I'm sorry, this is still in D.C., correct? I don't...
Yes, in
Okay.
December and January.
yeah.
And maybe even a rappelling wall on the outside where you could rappel.
So that you can hop off.
Yeah. Well,
When you
that
realize
would
you're
be
rooting for the
very
Redskins.
convenient. That would be very convenient. Here's a little joke for you. It's such a waste of money. They're going to name the stadium after Albert Hainsworth. Five's a good, clean sports joke. Yeah, so that's not going to happen.
No,
it shouldn't
should
happen.
not happen.
Don't put a moat in D.C.
Dan Snyder's going to pay for this when he doesn't even pay for
Yeah.
peanuts.
Yeah, exactly.
He gives you peanuts from the expired Continental Airlines or whatever.
Yeah, and like old expired beer.
Beer from like Christmas 3 years ago.
Yep.
But Dan Snyder's going to pay for a fucking moat and a rock climbing wall.
Pretty hard to believe.
What are you fucking talking about?
Yeah.
I just love that in the pictures it like shows this is like football season in Washington D.C. and it shows people surfing and lounging on a beach and rollerblading.
Like, in
it's
what
like it's
world?
30 degrees out. Like what are you
Everyone's
thinking is going
crying.
to happen
It
here?
doesn't make, it's like seeing the Jaguars stadium with the pool and being like, cool idea. Let's put that
Yeah.
here in Green Bay. Like, it
Yeah,
doesn't
right.
work. It doesn't work. That's fun. Okay, and the other one was
So hockey in Vegas.
yeah.
NHL GM meetings are happening this week in Boca Raton for some reason.
okay.
Capital of hockey, Boca Raton.
And one of the big topics there is the expansion draft for new franchise. And obviously, there's been a lot of talk about that franchise being in Vegas. Quebec was in the running, but not looking
Quebec
as
deserved
likely.
it.
But Vegas already has T-Mobile Arena under construction, so they're ready for it. And I'm sure players would be psyched to, go play there and get to hang in Vegas. But do you think people are going to be psyched to go watch hockey in the desert?
Warm location hockey is kind of difficult anyway. But the Kings have done all right, and the Sharks did okay with like the attendance at the Shark Tank was pretty good, and the Ducks do fine. Like it does. My first thought was like the Panthers, who are bad. And Tampa Bay had a weird fan base that like never really showed up. I think they've got more fans now, but back in the day when they played the Bruins in the playoffs, it was like, this is embarrassing. You don't have any fans. But I think Vegas is, a popular destination. The weird thing is like what percentage of the people that are there live there?
Right.
That's such a weird, it's like a fly in, fly out. It's like the bridge and tunnel city.
Yeah,
That's a good way to put
right.
it.
Like you don't really live there.
Yeah.
Coming from a girl who almost lived there. Fun fact.
Really?
Ooh, yeah.
I almost moved to Vegas after college.
Wow.
Because I couldn't find a job, and I couldn't afford to stay in New York. I stayed for 1 year, and then I was like, you know what? Rent in Vegas is like $400 a month
Yeah.
for a huge apartment with like a jacuzzi and a pool
Good point.
$400 a month, and I could get a job bartending and just crush with money. So I would end up, it would be like a savings plan.
But then you'd gamble and
I
lose some of
wouldn't
it.
though. Well, I would have. So, but my dad was like, as long as you don't end up on the pole. And I was like, if my dad feels he has to say that, I can. This is not a viable savings plan, and so maybe I stay home
Well, as a
and work
father-
at a bar.
As a father, you have one job.
One job.
One job, keep
Chris
her off the
Rock.
pole.
Yeah.
Yep.
It worked. Thanks, Dad. Now I have a TV show where I talk about how drunk I am all the time. You're welcome. All right. So, Matt, what do you think? What are you picking?
Well, this question really comes down to cold weather moats or warm weather hockey.
Which is tough.
Yeah. I definitely think Las Vegas hockey would be pretty cool.
All right.
You know, you could watch Johnny Manziel play hockey. That'd be good. Billy hockey instead of Billy football. So yeah, that's my answer.
What do
I
you
think.
got, Easton?
Like, I would say that if I go to Vegas, it's not going to be to watch hockey. But if this Redskins stadium is a real thing, and I could, surf even in cold weather in Washington D.C., like I would love to experience that.
You think that they can affect the weather just by like if you build it, it won't be cold?
That's
is
what
like
yeah,
the new.
That's exactly what I'm hoping
Yeah.
for. So
Yeah.
I would rather do that.
So you're asking me if I'd rather go to D.C. to watch the Redskins play,
Obviously.
or to Vegas to watch hockey? I think I'm going to take Vegas and hockey. Thank you very much. Also, can look out my boy John Taffer because he bought season tickets to that.
That's
to
right.
that already.
Yeah, that's right.
He's one of the investors. All right, Garrett. What are the categories I did not choose?
This week you did not choose Lost Boys. Who is more of a lost cause, Johnny Manziel or Phil Jackson?
Johnny Manziel.
Johnny Manziel?
Yeah.
Definitively?
Yeah.
Did you hear the Phil Jackson thing that he
No.
said? There's talk
Johnny
that he might
Manziel.
want to coach. He might want to coach home games for the next season.
Just fucking let
With the
him.
Rams coaching the road games.
Yeah,
Just
with Rams
let him.
coaching the road
Amazing.
games. Yeah.
Just let him. Who cares? Honestly, it's the goddamn Knicks. Just let him. Just let him. Johnny Manziel is. Oh God, Johnny Manziel.
Let him coach the Knicks.
Yo, that
Yeah, it wouldn't
there's
be
your
worse.
solution. Johnny Manziel coaches road games.
Ooh,
Phil Jackson coaches home games.
I'd watch that show.
I'm into it.
They'd be 500.
I like it. I like it.
And the final category is anxiously awaiting answers. Which fan base should be more panicked? Jets fans or Broncos fans?
Broncos fans, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah.
Yep,
They
it's
made
nuts.
a huge mistake with C.J. Anderson. They could have gotten him so much cheaper.
Yep.
What are you fucking doing?
Yeah, and then Elway tried to claim the reason we the money we saved letting Brock Osweiler go, we were able to use to keep C.J. Anderson here.
Why didn't you
Good
just
move.
use it before when you didn't have? That doesn't make any sense.
The best quarterback on either of those teams right now is Mark Sanchez on the Broncos.
Oh my God.
How weird is that?
It's
Where's
nuts.
Fitz going?
He's gonna end up on the
question.
Jets, I think.
He better. Like
But
that's
they're
so dumb.
lowballing him. It's like, what are you doing?
It's
you need
so
a quarterback.
dumb. I know, but you can't overpay based on just last year. But at the same time, you kind of have
He's
to.
good.
What
He's-
else you got? Slim pickings. You guys want RG fucking 3?
Exactly.
He's gonna be in
No.
San Francisco.
Yeah, I think so.
It's my hot take.
Yeah.
Colin Kaepernick is gonna be brought up back and go to sleep. Colin.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Go to sleep.
I have a
That
lot-
was Pick Your Poison, guys. Remember to make your choices on our Twitter polls. Go to @GarbageTime on Twitter. Vote in the polls, and the next week I'll reveal how your picks compared to mine, and it'll be like we're friends. That'd be great.
Awesome.
Normally this is where I say, okay, it's time for junk mail, but this week junk mail, all of the questions were pertaining to the gigantic season
Oh my
finale
God.
of The Bachelor. And
Bam, bam, bam.
so we're gonna skip ahead. No junk mail, because y'all asked basically the same question. And it's time for a final Bachelor draft update of the season. Dave,
Yeah.
you all right?
No,
Right.
no.
As I'm sure everyone knows by now.
Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched, tune out.
Yeah.
Also, it's
Just saying,
Thursday. Get with the
just saying.
times.
People might freak out.
JoJo did not win. She lost.
Oh, no.
Ben picked Lauren B.
No.
And let's be honest, I knew this was coming, and so I was able to emotionally prepare myself.
Good.
But it didn't make that night any easier.
No, it
I
didn't.
lost my voice just screaming out, JoJo! But the show was just difficult to watch, especially knowing how it would probably turn out. It was 2 hours long. It could have been 15
No,
minutes long.
it was 3 hours
Yeah,
long.
but
Right,
pardon,
fine.
pardon
You
that
have to
take,
Watch the
Tom.
post show.
Right.
The after the rose or after the final rose,
Yeah.
that's all I watched. I watched the last 20 minutes of the 3 hour fucking thing, and then I watched after the final rose.
Yeah, I mean, it's It was so much, and like there were so many tells throughout that they were trying to swerve you
Yep.
into thinking, oh, I bet you JoJo's gonna win, and it just didn't work. So like one of them was like, after his date with Lauren, he says a line to her that was felt so producer planted, which was, listen, no matter what happens, the love that I have for you, I'll never forget. And I'm like, that's just making us think they want us to think that, but it's not true. And then both girls meet his parents, and the parents kind of side with JoJo a little. They're like, both
just
girls were
edit it that
great.
way.
Right, they
Yep.
edit that way. Both girls were great. I think JoJo's someone who might, be a little stronger and challenge him a little more. I'm not sure Lauren can do that. And then the final tell, with 45 minutes left, there's this weird scene where JoJo and Ben went into a bathroom to have a conversation because cameras aren't allowed to follow you into the bathroom. So you can't see them, you can only hear them because they put the camera on the floor. And you hear JoJo saying to Ben, just give me a sign. I need something from you. And he's like, I love you. I'm telling you I love you. By the way, the amount of times you heard I'm in love with 2 women in this 3 hours was insane.
Really uncomfortable
She's
for
like, I
me.
need a sign. She's like, I know I love you. And she goes, but you love Lauren too, don't you? And he's like, yes.
It's like a 10-minute pause.
10-minute pause, yes.
so
And he's
long.
like, and you told her that, right? And he's like, yes. And then I'm like, well, now everyone knows how this is ending because there was no conversation with Lauren that was similar to that at all. So now I'm just devastated, and I have to watch them both show up for the final thing.
45 more minutes.
Yeah, 45 more minutes. By the way, they both showed up for their final moments with him in a helicopter,
Saw that.
obviously.
Hashtag budget.
And then,
Also, just like your girl JoJo, though,
Yeah.
like,
Though.
could not shed a tear.
yeah.
When she found out it wasn't her, she was like, but I'm so, it's fine. It's fine. Driest eyes. Not even like moist, and I hate that word. She just dry eyes and like, give me one tear, JoJo. Give me one tear. She gets in the limo, and then there's a tear. You want me to not think that was Visine? I know that was Visine. You're not crying. You're not sad.
Tears
If I
are a
were-
no-no for JoJo.
If I were on a television show of this large scale and I just found out this man that I'm in love with doesn't love me back enough to want to marry me, which is insane in and of itself, the first thing I would do is rip my microphone off and be like, I'm done, please get me out of here, I really want to go home. Because I'd be devastated. And you've got cameras around you, and I'd be like, can we all please just turn the cameras off for a minute, because I didn't realize how shitty this feels when you lose, and I would take my microphone off. But instead that nobody breaks the fourth wall. Everyone's like, this is a really personal moment we're having. That man just yelled, cut. Like, it's so fucking...
And I mean, you know why she obviously was trying to be on her best behavior.
Because she
despite-
wanted to be the Bachelorette.
Duh.
Which she now is.
Now that's why she
Yes.
wasn't upset. She's
That was
gonna
the
get $20
other
million
thing
bucks
from
for
this
that.
after the final rose ceremony. What's the co-host's name of that show?
Chris Harrison.
Chris Harrison's like, please welcome the next Bachelorette, JoJo. Like, it was a psych out. Like, we all didn't know it was gonna be JoJo.
Right, and it was funny. There were like planted rumors out there that it was going to be Kayla.
Yeah.
But so they wanted you to think that,
Yeah.
but I think it was obvious the whole time that JoJo was going to be the
The
Bachelorette.
best thing was Ben's face when Chris said, "You think we made a good choice?" And Ben's like,
Yeah,
like, I'm pissed. I now have to watch her date like 40 other dudes.
Yep.
for sure.
You
and
could
also,
tell.
he was definitely thinking that. Also, I'm sorry, but JoJo looks so much better than Lauren after the final rose thing.
Lauren looked like a doll.
Yeah,
she's
she-
very pretty.
Right. I
But
don't know
she was
where it came from.
She's very quiet. Like, they seemed like they didn't even like each other very much.
I thought it was odd. I thought Lauren looked great during the season, that she was too dolled up, and I feel like Ben was like regretting it a little bit, and then he hears, oh, by the way, I have to watch JoJo make out with 40 dudes for the next 3 months.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, she had to watch him.
So
True dat. Hashtag
Yeah.
feminism.
So I'm getting through it. I'm gonna have to deal with
good.
the number 2 pick in my fantasy draft.
Oh, darn. Well, that's okay, because maybe the guy in your draft will take Antonio Brown, who will then hurt himself in Dancing with the Stars, and you'll end up with...
I don't know. Adrian Peterson?
Oh, I guess so.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Can I pitch you guys an idea off of The Bachelor from
Sure.
last week? So when they went into the bathroom and they were doing their thing and they had like font at the bottom, all I could think about was the end of the Jinx. When I kept expecting to be like, "You love Lauren?
I killed
Love them
them.
all, of course." I kept thinking that was what was going to happen.
That's a good idea.
That should be a
I love that
mashup.
idea. My actual favorite part about the finale was after the final rose at the very end, because clearly it's live TV, and they were really planning and pulling for Ben to get married there. which was so uncomfortable because they kept pushing, like, are you sure? Your whole family's here.
We flew in this dumb priest.
She's wearing white. It was like, ew, this is so rapey. Like, he doesn't want to get married
Marry her,
now.
marry her.
Like, it was so weird. And so they decided no. He calls Ben up. Chris Harrison calls Ben up on stage. And he's like, and Ben's like, so that's it. And Chris is like, well, not yet. As in, like, we've got 15 more fucking minutes until we roll into Kimmel. So we really need to come up with something. It was the best stretch job I've ever seen in my life, because knowing what he's getting in his ear, which is like,
Talk.
mention, thank the family, thank the pastor, bring the pastor up, ask the pastor what he thinks about them as a couple, ask the parents how they're feeling. We have nobody else. Thank everybody. Thank the fans for 15 more minutes. New season of Dancing with the Stars premieres this day. Stay tuned for the next season of The Bachelorette premiering on this day. Go to this website. And it was like, you could tell he was like listening and like, huge thanks. Genuinely couldn't have done it without you. The fans, Bachelor Nation, thank you, all of you, so much for watching, for tweeting, for blogging. We love you. I've got 15 more minutes. I gotta get through this. And the camera's like slowly panning out, and in the background, people are hugging each other, and the music's playing, and the crowd's on their feet, and they're like, wait, he sounds like we're going to commercial. Why is it not happening? Most uncomfortable few minutes of TV I've ever watched in my life, and I couldn't have loved it any more than I did.
Perfect ending
pretty
to a
good.
perfect
Second
show.
hot take, I am 95% sure I could win The Bachelor.
Ooh.
As
I don't think it's that hard.
Well, okay.
okay,
Why do you say that?
Because you, first of all, you can't
this is good.
you
excited.
can't be there to make friends.
Okay.
You have to be there eyes on the prize. You've got to, I mean, if you're, this is, I mean, I'm talking about winning it as in like, I wouldn't fall in love, but I could con him into thinking I did. And he would fall in love with me.
Okay.
It would be very, it's like how to lose a guy in 10 days. It's like, if you know, like, oh, listen, I'm going to stay emotionally out of this, but I can pick up on your cues of what I should do in order to get you to fall in love with me. Easy. Or come in second, so
Right.
that I could be the next
Quick
Bachelorette.
hedge.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that would even be
Sweet.
better.
I love your confidence about this.
Yeah, it wasn't a hedge. It was a complete, like, power move. I might decide, like, oh, you know what? I actually don't want to win your affection.
Yeah.
I'd like to win sponsorship deals in another season of the show where I'm the star. So
All right.
I'm going to come in second.
All right, so we're going to start a campaign now to get Katie on The Bachelor.
Yeah. I'll do
Oh
it.
my gosh.
I'll
Everyone-
crush it.
Everyone use the hashtag Katie on The Bachelor.
Oh, wait, so this isn't a hedge, but this is just a, if I could get past the first week, I could win it. Because I'll admit that I'm not, the women on that show are beautiful, and in that first week, you really don't get to talk to everybody, and so I think the first round, maybe even first two rounds, I've never watched the show, are basically picked based, you're eliminating the ones you aren't physically attracted to.
Yeah.
So if I'm not his physical type, I have no control over that. So if I can get past that week, or up to the weeks where like you're actually spending time with the dude, I could win it.
I love this.
I love
this
it.
is my,
Let's
that's
make
my
this
theory.
happen.
Awesome. Hashtag Katie on The Bachelor.
Yeah,
Do it.
hashtag Katie on the, God, my parents would kill me. Dad, sorry, I'm kind of technically getting on the pole, so.
Nah.
Fantasy suites. Oh God, I'd have to have sex with fantasy suite. All right,
Well, we already
that's
addressed what order you'd go in.
it for the podcast. We will be back to do this again next week. Remember to check out the Jessica Luther podcast from earlier this week. My guest for next Tuesday's pod, as I said earlier, is Rembert Brown, so be on the lookout for that. We talked for 2 hours and ordered room service in the middle of our podcast and talked to our room service waiter, Elliot, for quite some time. So that was rather interesting. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and rate it and leave a comment. But again, only if the rating is 5 stars, only if the comment is nice, because we're really nice people and we don't write mean things about you on your website. Or you can listen on Art19 or SoundCloud or Stitcher or Google Play or wherever else. Thank you, producer Matt.
Thank you, R.I.P. JoJo.
Thank you. She still gets to live.
She's
They
good.
don't
Good.
kill her
Oh,
off.
that's so nice.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to hear that. That's
Good. It's a
amazing.
happy
Oh my
ending.
God, that's great.
Producer
The rest
Dave.
of them are dead though.
Thank you, and thank you for all your condolences about JoJo. I
Yes,
appreciate
of
it.
course.
Yeah.
Producer Garrett, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Ashley, thanks for giggling and for not participating in the Bachelor discussion. I know that was really hard for you. And thank you to all of you for listening. Bye. Love you. Mean it.